Three, two, one. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode one of Unfocused with DHB TV. We have an absolute legend in the outdoor industry with us for our first guest, and it's only right because I'm blessed to call him a friend. It is none other than Mr. Travis T-Bone Turner from Bone Collector. Trav, Bone, thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Oh
Absolutely.
man,
Thanks for coming.
thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it. We kind of talked about it before we got on here, but hey, nobody can ever take it away from me, man. I was first.
Man, and we were kind of catching up before we hit the record button. I was Tristan and I grew up watching T-Bone. I mean,
Uh,
probably honestly before Bone Collector. Oh, he's out.
I was
Where'd
about
he
to
go?
say, hold your thoughts there. He's young. Well,
There he
that's the
is.
end of the podcast.
Yeah, enjoyed it, boys.
That's exactly what I said.
So, what I was saying, Tristan and I grew up watching Bone on probably before Bone Collector. Man, I know you did some stuff with Real Tree before Bone Collector really become a thing. And I remember watching you back in the day with that freaking flannel. What was it, bear whitetail too with a fishing rod on it?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. That's way back in the day. I think we started all that about 1999, actually.
That was the,
Now, I didn't catch it then. It was a
unfinished.
couple years after that for me. I was born 2 years before that.
Yeah.
What was
But
that? The unfinished hunter, wasn't it?
Incomplete hunter.
Incomplete hunter. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Man,
Monster. Yeah, the monster bucks. We had the archery tournament in between.
come on, internet, work with us. No way. This is having some internet troubles.
Mm.
There'll be some editing mixed in this one, boys.
Look at how that checker's frozen.
Just want to take a picture.
Command Shift 3.
Caught him slipping.
Got him.
I wonder what's going on. Oh, man. Okay. Let's get him. Hold on back. Here we go. Hey, guy.
Hey, my computer just crapped itself.
Oh.
So I'm on the phone. I'm on my phone now.
That'll work.
Is it okay?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, looks good.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sorry about that, fellas.
No, you're good.
Fine.
You're good.
I mean, seriously, I got a MacBook Pro and it just totally went dark.
That ain't good.
Imagine that technology fails us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we was talking about Incomplete Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah, that was way back in the my beginning of my career with Real Tree. Playing the sidekick to Jeff Foxworthy, and we come up and we built a character, so to speak. I'd never been called T-Bone before in my life, and they said we need something a little more hick of a name than Travis, and I just threw it out there, T-Bone. I thought it would be short and easy to remember, and man, it stuck. So thank goodness for old T-Bone.
That's a fact. So Bone, I want to kind of go back to honestly your beginning. I mean, I've watched that Real Tree video they did of you quite a few times. I mean, the story is impeccable. And one question I do have before we get started deep in that: do you still run the bow shop that you started?
No, I sold. I worked in a bow shop, and then I opened my own bow shop in like 1994, and I had my own bow shop up till like 2006 or 7. Sold my bow shop, and then I worked. The people that bought me, I worked for them for about 2.5 years, and during that same time, I was doing all kinds of stuff with Real Tree before then, and then we started Bone Collector in 2008, and it just worked out. It worked out, just perfect. God has a way of lining things up for you, and everything just happened to line up perfectly. And in 2008 we started Bone Collector, thinking that we're going to give this a whirl. If it probably lasts a couple of years, and then we'll go back to doing something. I'll start sheetrocking or something, dipping septic tanks or something. But man, just it's been a true blessing for what now, 16 years, 17 years long. Since then, we're still going. So yeah, it's been a blessed ride for sure.
Yes, and nonetheless, it's a legacy. I mean, it truly is. I think, that's a brand that we'll see for a very long time, and a logo we'll see for a long time. And it's cool that you know, obviously, I think the common factor for you guys, like I said, looking kind of back, y'all met through Realtree. I know Nick was at 7J. Uh,
Yep.
Waddy was filming, and then you come in, with the Foxworthy sidekick, and the stuff back then, working on their bows and such, and
Uh huh.
now uh, I mean, it's almost a perfect trio, for what you guys have done and what it stands for. It's impeccable. It truly
Yeah.
is.
That's a testament to Michael. Basically, we, like you said, we had all met through Realtree, and we all had like very similar personalities. We got along like brothers, and Michael was hosting a show for Gander Mountain. He had left Realtree as an employee. He was still a freelance, contractor with them, and still hosting road trips. And he was wanting to start his own show and own brand. And he knew with the workload of doing all that other stuff, he wasn't going to be able to do it himself. And he's just got an eye for creative talent, and or like worst case scenario, I'm hunting with my buddies, and everybody likes that because it's just a, call it what you will, a spinoff of the way road trips it was created. And I'm so appreciative that he asked me and Nick to be a part of it. And I mean, we're still, everybody asks me and Nick all the time, like, when you going to do your own show? You guys seem to be pretty popular. When you going to start your own show? And I'm like, man, there's no way. I mean, like, we get along so good, and we're tight as can be, like brothers. And the only way I'm quitting Bone Collector is if Bone Collector fires me. So that's it. So
I don't think y'all worry about
yeah,
that.
I don't think so.
I hope not. I
No.
hope not.
But you know, I think what's cool, and obviously I'm be honest with you, when I learned this from that Realtree video they done of you, I didn't know that I knew that you had competed in 3D tourneys.
Yeah,
Um, I didn't know you had won the world championship in '91.
yeah, yeah. Caught a blind hog found an acorn that year. I pulled a I went down there and cut a bunch of bowstrings, and I happened to be the only one with a bowstring left. And lo and behold, I won. Yeah.
Smart
No,
guy.
no, I competed. Honestly, I started competing in '87. Won won a state championship in '90 and '91, and then won the world championship '91. Traveled all across the country up till about 2002, shooting for start. Won the world championships when I was shooting for Browning. They had an archery. They used to make bows, believe it or not,
Yeah.
and they sold off to PSE, and then I started shooting with PSE for 3 years, and then I've been with Hoyt ever since 1996. So
Wow.
yeah, I never missed an ASA tournament, IBO tournament. Was shot for the manufacturers at the pro level all the way since 1990. So yeah, I really missed that. But with starting a family and having a store, and the prize money went way down. Believe it or not, we won more money back in the early and mid '90s than way more than they do now. Like first place for the world championship was $30,000 back then, and shooter of the year was $50,000, not counting contingency money, because we were on ESPN. And that's about the only way to celebrate things through was there was no social media or anything, so TV was the way to go. Everybody tuned into ESPN back then, so the money was up there. We had a lot of non-endemic sponsors, and then once 3D towards the late '90s, early 2000s, prize money really dwindled. And even now, the guy who wins world championship now only wins like 2,200, 20. I mean, which is good money. Don't get me wrong, but it's nowhere near like it was back in the early '90s.
Right. Right. That's wild. Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, obviously, it was a little bit before my time.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
crazy. But
I'm
that's
feeling really old. I'm feeling really old explaining all this to you guys.
nah. Hey, you man, you don't look a day over 25, Bone. Come
Yeah,
on,
thank you, man. Thank you.
but now that's cool. I didn't know that. That's intriguing. I mean, I think nowadays, obviously the number one, in my opinion, the number one tournament shooter people know about is Levi. I
Absolutely.
mean, Levi signed. I think it was the first $1 million deal, and that was with Elite, I believe.
Yep.
Um, that's just absurd. That's
Yep.
crazy. But I mean, that's perks of being the best.
He's
You know,
very deserving. Yep, you can put money on him. Actually, I was just getting out of shooting about the time he was starting. He was, of course, in the junior classes and the youth classes, but everybody was talking about how this new kid was gonna, come up and strong. And boy, if he didn't, man, he kind of showed out. So I think I jumped ship about perfect timing.
man, he's incredible. He
Yeah.
truly is.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's I enjoy watching their show as well, and a lot of it comes down to like I love seeing him take shots that I don't want to say only he can make, but he's one of the few that can make them.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah. I
pretty
mean,
incredible.
everybody has a Hail Mary they make occasionally, but when he's doing it, you can tell that it's a tactician. He has confidence, and he seems to do it time and time again. So
Right.
yeah, he's he's got his he's got his stuff together. Let's put it that way.
So Bone, kind of looking back over the years, of Bone Collector, obviously, y'all three, like I said, y'all three make an incredible trio. It's, I know that I feel like the purpose for you guys whenever you went into the show mindset was one for entertainment and really showcasing y'all's personalities, and then obviously two, the hunting side comes with that hand in hand. Whereas you have other shows, and there's nothing wrong with it, but you have other shows such as Heartland, a couple others out there that's really cinematic that want to just showcase true, like almost a movie every show,
Hmm.
versus you guys where it's just like pure entertainment all the time.
Good time.
Right.
Yeah,
Showing the camaraderie of the hunt
Good
instead
old
of
boys.
just the kill.
Yep.
yeah, that's what we set out to do. Meaning, like, so many shows out there are driven by, unfortunately, it's just the way we are as men, or a lot of guys are with, the male ego, like want to kill the biggest buck, and they think that that's going to hold their show. Whereas, Michael always had the thoughts of, we want people to feel like they were on our shoulder, along for the ride, us giving each other fits, playing practical jokes, laughing, celebrating our partners and friends, and whoever's in camp, having a good time, eating good meals. The cherry on top is maybe we'll kill a big deer, but we're going to celebrate even if a guy drags back 120 inch or 130 inch. The size of the critter is going to be secondary to us having a good time. And we want people to feel like, man, I would love to be in that camp, or either, it sure would be, this is just like my buddies that I always get to hunt with. It seems like I'm just tuning into that. So that's what we wanted to do, is just celebrate what we all grew up doing, cutting our teeth. And then, if you've got decent personalities and it's entertaining, that's something that's predictable no matter where you go, whether you're cockroach hunting, whether you're bow fishing, whether you're shooting squirrels, or you know slapping carpenter bees. That's going to happen no matter what. So we knew that we would have good episodes, and and good times if that's what we documented. And then, like I said before, cherry on top would be, you know we're just going to celebrate a little harder if we was to happen to kill a 160, 70, 80 buck.
Right. Yeah.
100%.
And I think that's whenever we had you know kind of rewinding back for me, like I went through obviously. Bowen, I don't know if you remember, I texted you about a deer that I shot and missed in Illinois. Sent you the footage of.
Yep.
A good one. We'll say a good one.
Yeah.
And I think that looking back from those times to kind of now, it's just crazy because I never thought that we would actually launch, or I would have buddies around here that we would launch our own show.
Yep.
Um, and I think for us, whenever we went into the mindset, and I could tell you, I know Tristan and Darren both know this. I've always said, if you can take Bone Collector and mix it with the cinematic side of Heartland, you got the greatest show there ever will be. You
Yeah.
know, that's something that we're still learning the cinematic side.
Yep.
We kind of got the Bone Collector side down
Oh
pat. We
yeah.
have an awful lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Sometimes a little too much fun.
we do, we pick on each other quite a bit, give each other a hard time. I mean, but end of the day, that's hunting camp. That, like you said, that, and I think a lot of us, those that watch Bone Collector learn that because we saw that at a younger age. Whenever back in '07, I was 10. So I seen that like whenever I was first kind of getting interested in hunting, and then it was like, man, like I want to be hunting like that. Like I want those guys. Like I want to have that group, and Man, I'll be honest, we've been blessed. We've got a fun group, but
And
you know,
ain't no
I
doubt
think,
about it.
yeah, I mean, Tristan's actually from Georgia.
Oh, okay.
He's down in Gray.
Yeah, I don't know. Nobody knows what that little town's at. It's
in North Georgia, though, isn't it?
a little bit north of Macon.
Yeah.
Yep, little small town north of Macon, and
What county's that?
Jones County.
Oh yeah, I killed deer in Jones County. I have.
You
Seriously.
gonna come around here, T-Bone,
Cedar
and just
Creek,
smoke the couple?
Cedar Creek, WMA.
You're lying.
Man, I used to camp right there off of Fire Tower Road, Rabbit Skip Road.
Man, that is crazy, man. Me and my buddies,
Yeah.
man, we like about 6-7 years ago, we really got into bow hunting hard, man. We all got our climbers and lock-ons and stuff like that, and we just get basically a long firing line, and we'd hunt Cedar Creek like crazy, man. That's crazy to think about. I mean, that's right down through the trees from my house. I mean,
I've killed quite a few deer there. It's actually funny. The last time I hunted there, it was like the hunt that I was there on. There was a whole bunch of Vietnamese or Koreans.
Oh, shooting squirrels?
Yeah. And
oh yeah,
they eat everything, man.
They are mad at them squirrels.
Yeah, and then we always went on that. They had it was a primitive weapons hunt they had there that we'd always go on, and you know, with the check-in, we always thought it was great because I actually killed my first deer ever in Social Circle. You know where that is, right?
Oh yeah,
So Social Circle's where our club was. I grew up in Douglasville, which is on the west side of Atlanta, and we drive all the way through Atlanta and hunt in Social Circle. I killed my first deer there, but like Piedmont National Wildlife Refuge. And
oh yeah, that's literally. I mean, that's right here on top of it. Piedmont's huge, man. And there's some Cedar Creek and Piedmont and Oconee National Forest, man. There's some solid deer in there come out of there.
Yeah, from when I was like 17 till 30 years old, I hunted there a lot, all through my 20s.
It's crazy.
I was dating my girlfriend, and get this is so we was 2 hours away from there. I would go on a date on Friday night, and then we would get up Saturday morning. I'd drive all the way to Cedar Creek. We'd hunt Saturday and Saturday night, drive all the way back, see her for about an hour, sleep, and then drive back to Cedar Creek and hunt Sunday. Wouldn't camp down there because, Lord, if you don't get back and take the girl out on a date on Saturday night or come see her, I'm like, man, I was so silly for doing that. I should have just slept in the cab of my truck or camped out down there at Cedar Creek. That's crazy.
Oh yeah. Did you get it after any dove last weekend?
No, I had so much going on around here. I didn't. And actually, the one invite that I got was they had a lot of birds, but I think they they had some chum out, and I can't afford to get caught. So I didn't.
Man, I had an argument with Nick the other day, and I was like, man, I'm telling you, because I was getting pumped up. I'll get real excited about that week before it starts going through my mind, and I just keep do it like, here we go, it's game time, and it's just the start of hunting season, basically, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Always growing up, man, everybody comes out, they talk crap to each other, and mess around, joke around, all that good stuff, and it's just a real good time. But man, Nick over here, he I was like, man, I don't know, man. That dove hunt, man, it's up there on my list for sure. It always has been and always will be.
Yeah.
And Nick was like, man, I just don't see it. I was like, Nick, you ain't never been on a good one, man. You ain't never been on a good one. I'm telling you, dude.
Now let's hold on, Tristan. You're getting a little out of hand because you said, I'd probably put that as probably my number one thing to hunt. Now, Bone, I don't know about you, but man,
I mean,
you put me in the Midwest in the middle of the rut on a good farm.
Yeah. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. It really depends on the season. I'm 100, whatever season it is, or whatever season's about to come in. I'm fully locked in on this, or deer season. I'm fully locked in on that, and then that's my favorite. I don't know why, but that's just the way I was wired.
When I was in my 20s, that's the way I was too. And I like dove. I like dove hunting just for that same reason. A lot of times I've been and not even taken a gun just because I want to be a part of the camaraderie. I'll sit out there on the field and call birds, and just the fun of it means everything. My son, him being autistic. He liked bird hunting because there's always action.
Mm-hmm.
So he liked dove hunting and he liked duck hunting. So I was going to a lot of dove and duck hunts, locally just to take him because that's what he wanted to do and wanted to go. So yeah, he'd love to go retrieve the birds and he'd call, hey bird, bird, and he loved all that.
Oh yeah.
Especially,
Oh yeah.
Especially the eating too. He loved the good eating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's always good food. That's what we had. I think barbecue, big old barbecue platter for lunch, and low country bull that afternoon. Shoot, they brought a band out.
Oh man,
it was a big old shindig this past weekend.
Oh good.
But
yeah, no, I cut my teeth over on Cedar Creek. We used to camp out there all the time.
It's crazy to think about, man, because we've hunted it countless times.
I'd go over there and we'd hunt, and being young, you think you're going deep. You say, man, I'm getting away from people. And I'd walk and I'd walk. I mean, even in the dark, 2 hours before daylight, and I'd end up jacking up a tree somewhere, and I'd walk slap to another road. I'd done walk myself right back into
it. Right back into them.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. And by the time you get back there and you go to put your stand up, you're all out of breath and sweaty. And I'm just like, man, what am I doing?
Yeah. Now, what am I going to do if I kill a deer back here, man?
Yeah, exactly. That's the first thought. You're like, man, if I shoot one, it's going to have to be a giant. I mean, it's. I'm telling you.
So, Bone, looking back, what would be your top 3 most memorable hunts? Just never forget in a million years. I know one episode for me was the mountain lion. That was insane.
That was a cool plot. I didn't expect to even be. I didn't know we had tags. I thought we was going on a mule deer hunt, and Nick never told me that we was going to be hunting mule deer, and we landed, and they said, yeah, we got you mountain lion tags, and I'm like, really? I said, man, I wish I'd have known. I'd like to do that with my bow. And he goes, yeah, we got tags. I'm like, well, crap. I wish I had brought my bow. And if you remember right, our guides, we were hunting with the Navajo Wildlife Department, so the game wardens were our guides. And my guide was Dondi. His name was Dondi, and he talked with a high voice like this, man. He's kind of a Mexican / California surfer dude. And he goes, TBone, you don't worry, bro. He goes, you can use my bow, man. You can use my bow to hunt with. So I'm like, well, I appreciate that, but I figured he probably had like a old high country or a bear or something like that. And I'm like, well, I appreciate it, man. I said, but what kind of bow you got? Just maybe there's a chance that he had a Hoyt. And he goes, man, I shoot nothing but the best, man. I got a Hoyt carbon element, bro. So he had a carbon element, and I said, man, this is gonna work. So we rode around with it, and it worked out. I mean, honestly, I used his bow. I borrowed the game warden's bow to shoot my.
That's awesome.
So it worked out perfect. Yeah, it was. I was like, man, I hope this works out all right. You know how I've been around the bow a little bit, so I'm looking down the area and I'm looking up there, and I'm like, well, it's 12 yards up, and I'm like, we got dogs down here. If I happen to miss, we'll chase him up again. But I took my time. I drew back a bunch of times, and I felt really good about the shot. I said, here we go, whap, cut it loose, and I couldn't have put it up there no more perfect. He fell out, and ran about 40 yards. So yeah, that was memorable. And because we was on the Navajo, we did a little, a ritual, up there on the mountain, and we weren't allowed to take the meat off the mountain. We had to leave it to go back to the gods. So we stripped it out, had a little ceremony, and we left it up there. We brought the skull and we brought the hide back out, and we let it go back as a sacrifice to the gods. Pretty neat.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
We filmed it, but out of respect, we didn't show it. You know what I mean?
100%.
It was kind of sacred, so that was pretty neat. I never would have thought, this big old flat-footed guy from Georgia would ever be killing a mountain lion. But hey, I got one.
No, that's awesome. That's that was definitely one that I'd never forget. What's the personal for you?
Iowa. The first year I'd been putting in for Iowa. It was the first year that we had we was doing Bone Collector. I was going to Iowa regardless if we, we hadn't even started talking about Bone Collector, and I drew the tag, and then we started Bone Collector. So I was going to go hunt. I'd been putting in, this is my 4th year. I got an Iowa tag. Nick went and filmed me. He drove down in his, he had a Toyota 4Runner and had a little bitty rabbit trailer. He drove down and met me in Iowa, and he filmed me. And as luck would have it, Whitetail Properties gave us the property, meaning like one of the owners had this piece of property, had never been on it, and it was in the unit that I drew, which is unit number 6. And they said, yeah, have at it. Just go over there, put you out trail cameras. This is long before any cell phone cameras. So
Right.
we had to go get everything developed. I mean, not developed, but at least switch the cards out so that we could read the cards. And we got on some deer and hung our own stands and everything like that. And and my whole dream was to kill a 150 plus in the Midwest, and it ended up scoring 162. Nick filmed me. I started crying in the tree. I'm like, man, we're starting Bone Collector, and I killed his first deer. And, I was all beside myself, man. So that's a pretty memorable one. And then I killed a deer here, a buck that scored about 115 here on my own property. I just had bought it, and it was about 3 years after I'd bought it, and I killed it with a recurve. He's only scored about 115. And then out of that same, another one that's pretty memorable. It's hard to pick these. I'm just these 3 that are coming to my head. But then in 2020, the year before I got diagnosed with cancer on my leg, I had 2 big bucks show up here. I mean, like 2 for this area, giants. I mean, so I killed my biggest buck ever with a bow on land that me and Pete Alfano, which he's the owner, one of the owners of Whitetail Properties. He and I bought a tract of land in Kansas, so I killed a 183 in Kansas. Came back home 2 weeks later on the 25th of September, which was Archer's birthday, my son's birthday. The 2 days prior, this deer was daylighting. It's a nice big typical 10. Scored 161. I shot him, self-filmed it. So, man, I'm like, golly, if I don't kill another deer, I'm having a great year, 2020. And then I had another deer on my place here that was daylight, and he's a big non-typical. And I was getting cell cam pictures of him 400 yards away from me in the daylight while I'm shooting this 161. Yeah. So they both were daylighting, but where this one was daylighting, the non-typical, I couldn't bow hunt it. So I knew if I pushed in there to where he was at, I was going to blow him out because there's a lot of land around me, and he was just coming to me to visit. So I said, man, I got to keep the pressure low. So I waited till muzzleloader season, which was about 20 days later, October the 12th, and luck would have it, he came out a good, he stayed on that daylight pattern. He came out a good 45 minutes before dark and shot him, and it was a non-typical, scored 186. So I had a 183, a 161, and a 186 all within, all on my own land, all on my land, not no outfitter, no nothing. I hung the stands, I put the corn piles out, and we threw these deer. So, and I hope you guys know what I'm saying by this, meaning I'm proud of no matter how you kill the deer, no matter what, but it just adds to it just makes for a huge pride factor whenever, you own the land and you've got sweat equity and, you got 3 and 4 years worth of trail cam pictures of this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not condoning someone for shooting any deer that they want to, but if you're checking all these boxes, it just adds to the pride factor. And it'd be hard to that say 5 week, 6 week stretch. It's going to be hard to top that.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's what I think. It's just crazy to think about all the hours and the work and the blood, sweat, and tears we put all into these deer and stuff like that. And then just for that one little tiny window.
Yep.
And when it happens, it's all over. And then you just wish you could breathe some life back into him and do it all over again.
Yeah.
I know it. You got the memories though, man. I mean, sometimes it's hard to justify, especially when you're doing accounting and looking what you spent on on hunting.
Oh yeah.
Not even
Like,
look at it.
how do I justify this, man? This is absolutely crazy. And then somehow it's all worth it. It just you can't change those feelings.
Right.
Absolutely. And there's one in Nick and Darren, they've seen him. Oh, shoot, all of y'all seen him. But there's one at the farm. I actually work this hat right here, Sawblade Outfitters.
Yeah.
We got an outfitter over there, and I don't know if you've heard of Twiggs County.
I'm familiar with Twiggs.
That's what we're over there in Twiggs County. But the owner of the land, Mr. Kenny McCrimmon, he shot one. I think it was back in 2020. I think it was, and man, they watched this deer for probably 5 years, and all the work and stuff. And I was like, Pop, how much money you think you put in that deer? And he said, man, I'd probably fall out and pass over and die if I knew how much I put into him, because man, all the protein and the feed and the hours and batteries and the cameras and stuff like that, all of that 1 second, and it's all over with.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think that's where, and TBone, I know we 100% get the pride factor. I mean, dude, there's nothing better than grooming the farm, taking a piece of land and turning it into a paradise per se.
Yep. I like to use the word polishing. Like I've bought 4 or 5, farms around here that don't adjoin mine. I've been buying some and it's adjoining mine, but I've been buying other pieces and it's rough. It's like nobody wants it. It's overgrown. Nobody's been in there in 15 years. But man, I mean, I'm blessed to get to do what I do for a living. But honestly, my hobby or my passion, outside of my career of archery and shooting deer and filming and stuff like that, is I love like skid steers and mini excavators and tractors, and just like taking a rough piece of property, somebody that'd say, why do you want that for, and going there and, like I said, just going there polishing it, and just coming up with a game plan and trimming limbs and planting food plots and leaving all the things that you do. God, you can't put a price on what that does. And then if you happen to own it, knowing that you're increasing the value of it, I mean, it's just, one, you're getting entertainment out of it, you're getting use out of it, and you're building a legacy for your family, and or it's a absolute great a retirement plan.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So, Bone, another question for you.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say favorite, because I know you got a lot of people. A lot of people. You've been around some awesome people. What's one of your? I mean, who's somebody that you enjoyed having in a hunting camp, that's not a part of Bone Collector? Like, just one that stands out.
Celebrity, you mean, or just?
It could be celebrity. It could be whatever.
There's been a lot of great guides over the years. I mean, we formed a lot of great friendships. The guys that we hunt with out in Utah at R&K, man, they don't come no more solid than that. Hurley Combs, the guy we hunt with in Kentucky at Lost Mountain Outfitters, he's a good one. But if you're talking celebrities, it's hard to beat Blake, man. Blake be the 4th Bone Collector. I mean, like, literally, don't just take away that he's as wealthy as he is and he's as famous as he is. Man, he absolutely just is just like us. I mean, identical to us. And he was just down a week and a half ago. I set up his bow, and Clint Boyer, that he was down. He's from North Carolina, actually.
Yep.
But yeah, he was down, and I set up their bows and got them all sighted in. They flew in and was at Waddell's house, and we spent a couple of days together. But yeah, I mean, he's just salt of the earth, and just, I mean, goes right along with picking on each other, and we just have the best time. Absolutely, just have the best time.
That's good. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But Craig Morgan is good. Someone that I enjoyed hunting with, that we've remained friends, that I wouldn't have thought that I would, is Phil Phillips. He won American Idol back in 2008 or 9 or something like that. But anyway, he's he's not Blake famous, but he's got a great career from that. But yeah, he's a big time hunter. He can't really wave the flag so much because he's got a folky kind of a follow. I mean, he's country, but it's almost like a soft rock slash folky type
Right.
of fan base. So he doesn't really, he shows that he hunts, but he don't no blood and guts. But
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
good. Zach Brown just lives right up the road. I do a lot of work with him and his stuff. So um, yeah, he's diehard. Actually, they're headed to Africa here next week or two. Just ordered him 12 dozen arrows. He's getting 12 dozen.
12 dozen.
Yeah, he did it. He just did this 3 years ago, and he just ordered
He's
12 dozen more.
he's finna lay some animals down, baby.
Oh, I
He is
mean,
finna
Wow.
cause
man,
some
really.
havoc.
He said, "You really need that much?" He goes, "I do not want to run out, and I don't want to. If I lose some or they get damaged, I want to have backups for my backups for my backups." I'm like, "Okay,
He's definitely got it. That's for sure.
yeah." You think he
Is
was at
that
a carnival?
is that the serious arrows?
Yep.
That's what I've shot. I started shooting them last year, man. Those are some thumpers right there for sure.
Yeah, and they ain't cheap either. I mean,
Mm-mm.
they ain't cheap, man. So yeah, but he lives right up. He doesn't live too far from here. But yeah, there's Luke 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 Bryan is good as gold. His dad does all the fertilizing for Michael's um, pecan farm, so we get to talk to him a lot. Jason Aldean. I mean, Adam LaRoche is good as gold. I mean, absolutely just good as gold. So been real blessed, man. For the most part, if the person's an outdoor or country, growing up country and and knows what a lima bean is and black hole peas and hunts and fishes, 98% of the time they're pretty good folks.
Right.
Yep.
Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no doubt
Yeah,
about it.
I agree. I think that whenever I first got into the outdoor industry, it was overwhelming for me. I my first freelance trip was with Dan Brayman from Wildlifers, and Dan's very hard nosed. I remember I actually reached out to you about that to see if you had any insight. And he's a hard nosed guy, but he's super. He's honestly super laid back once you kind of get
yeah,
to know him and get be around him enough. And I still talk to Dan probably every couple weeks. But yeah, man, I was intimidated going into that, and then it circled into some other opportunities with some other shows, but nonetheless, man, Bone, you were the guy that it started with, back in 2014, 15 when you come and spoke at the banquet and shot that archery tournament. I'm
I was sick as a dog. I remember that.
I, I I'm pretty sure my rear end still hurts from that whooping you gave me on the course.
Oh,
Um, it was pretty rough, but
wasn't we shooting over there at a ball field?
yep, it was a pop up tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I was sick as a dog. My wife drove the whole way. I mean, really, like we were discussing the whole time I'm driving up there. I'm like, man, we should turn around. I had some type of infection or a cold. I ran a fever the whole way up there, man.
Mhm.
I felt rough.
Hmm.
I felt bad, but we made it through. We did good.
I think you come back another year too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we we've had, obviously we've had some fun with it, but yeah, I do have mom has a picture that is framed inside the house, and it was me and you sitting there. I had on my little Hoyt shirt, thought I was somebody, out there. But it was looking back, man, that was like Tristan kind of said earlier, with just getting the opportunity to talk to you. But for me, man, that was a dream come true. Like I said, you was a big staple in me getting into bow hunting. The whole bone collector crew, truthfully. And then obviously see you at got to see it at ATA whenever ATA was kind of still relevant.
Oh yeah,
It's kind of faded from what I've been told. I hadn't been the past couple of years, but
yeah.
that was it's been cool, man. The outdoor industry is that, like you said, it's definitely if it's people that kind of come from the same background, you could typically get along with them. Um,
Mhm.
I'll be honest, man. Iowa was a little different breed for me. That's above the Mason Dixon line. Had some fun out there, and I mean, still made some great friends, but it was different. That's a different breed of people. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it. Just different us Southern folks. But nonetheless, yeah, I
Did Dan?
think.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say, did Dan ever tell you the story of the first time we went out and hunted with them at Mellon Creek?
No, I want to say I remember seeing Waddell kill a turkey, but that's it.
Well, he had went and killed a turkey, and then he invited us back to come deer hunting and hog hunting, to shoot some hogs. So we go back, or I shouldn't say he did. The people at Mellon Creek, we didn't know who. We just knew Mellon Creek was inviting us.
Right.
So we get there in camp, and we're in camp, and Dan is one of the guides, but we didn't know Dan owned the whole place. Dan didn't let nobody know that Dan was the owner. Dan was like keeping it secret squirrel, and he was just hunting with us, kind of seeing what kind of guys we was, because I guess he felt like that we would treat him different, him being the owner.
Right.
And then after a couple of days, he seen that we were okay guys, and not hoity-toity or anything like that. And then then he let us know. But I was like, you secret squirrel, you boy. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan's a trip. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, that was honestly probably one of the most nerve-wracking weekends for me, because like I typically read people good, but man, he has just, it could be such a blank look,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't know if that's good or bad, back
Yeah.
then.
Just hard to read. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, Bone, I can't thank you enough. The things you've done for the outdoor industry, and I know I speak for a lot of people with that. You, Waddell, Nick, have done some awesome things for the outdoor industry and standing up for that. I know that Waddell has really made a push on his socials with that over the past couple of years, and I know obviously you're right behind him with it.
Sure.
Never a doubt there. But for hunters, if towards the next generation, what's something as a next generation of hunters, you know, what's one thing you would want to tell them first time, first day, first whatever, just brand new to it. What's one thing you'd want to tell them?
You mean as someone that's just getting into hunting?
Yeah, yep. Just getting into hunting.
Yeah, just don't go with it. Don't have don't let the expectations go to where like you have to kill something to be successful. Whereas I think so many people put the pressure on themselves because they see on social media, or they see people bragging about it, or you get judged on, oh, you went hunting, you've hunted 4 days, and you haven't even seen but 2 deer. Don't. There's way more to get out of it than the killing of the critter. There's the fellowship. There's hunting to me is 365 days a year. It's working on, each other's bows, shooting bows in the backyard, calling up your buddy. Hey man, you see that Cabela's has got a sale on this? Well, what about this new Realtree camouflage they're running a sale on? It's the text messages. It's the group text. It's the work days at the hunting camp. It's the, hey, we're going to hang some stands. Do you want to come over? We're going to watch, these hunting shows together. It's 12 months worth of camaraderie, and just like we had said earlier, whatever season's in is you're all about whatever season's in. So there's so much more to hunting than just like, man, I suck at this, I didn't kill anything. Well, you recharged your batteries, you got to be out in God's creation, you probably seen some birds and heard some things that you never had heard before. You learned that the wind changes. You're going to learn something every time you go to the woods. So there's just so much to be absorbed out there. That's what I would tell people, to make sure that you got the right expectations when you're going to the woods and you're going to hunt, and you're making sure that that you get the most out of it. And let it recharge your batteries. Don't feel so much pressure to do a certain thing, or there is, it's a journey, not a destination. Just enjoy it, enjoy the ride. I would say the same thing to you. You're talking about, you guys just now starting, you filming and your podcast and things like that. A lot of people look at like me, and I guess I'm switching gears on you now, but a lot of people look at me and look at Michael and look at, Nick, and say like, man, I want to look at these guys, man. They just started a show, and look, they got a pretty hit show, but that was 2008 when we started, just like you guys are starting now. What did I just tell y'all before that? I've been shooting competitively since like 89 or 90. So that's a long journey. But I was immersed into an industry that I absolutely loved. So if you're doing something that you're extremely passionate about, the money will come, and then even if it's not bukus of dollars, you're doing something you love. You might as well document it. You might as well do something that you're passionate about, because if you're doing something that you're passionate about, you won't feel like you've worked a day in your life. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, because I mean, there's nothing worse than, nothing wrong with dipping septic tank for a living, but that guy's working in septic tanks for 5 or 6 days a week. He can't wait to get to the woods. Whereas, or let's just say he likes working on model cars, or he likes racing or something other like that. He can't wait to get away from it. But how much more blessed could you be than to be working in an industry that that you love, and it doesn't even seem like work. I used to do work for Mercedes Benz in Atlanta for 9 years, and I took a huge pay cut because I got tired of. I mean, it's not something I wanted to do the rest of my life, and I didn't want to fight that traffic anymore. And I was like, I'm going to try this for a little while. If I fall flat on my face, I can always go back to doing this. But man, I haven't looked back. Just like buying my first piece of property, I haven't looked back on it. So that's what I would tell people that are, whether they're getting into the hunting industry or whatever they want to put. They want to be like my son wants to be an editor. He cares nothing about hunting or editing hunt and stuff or anything like that. But he is a good editor. He's already a great editor, but he has to get certified to do so. So, just remember, like, you guys aren't going to snap your finger. You know this, Nick, because you and I've talked, on a quarterly basis or whatever, about this job or that job. Yourself, it's a journey, but it's pursuing your passion. And I mean, before you know it, you blink twice, you got a family, 2 kids, and you're making a living in the outdoor industry. So I would just tell everybody to slow things down. Life is a fast pace with all the electronics and phones and stuff, but let hunting be your escape. Let it get so much more out of hunting. Let your passion, that to make a job that's going to serve you well throughout time, and let that, just enjoy the ride. I know I bounced around a lot there, but I hope I covered some stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's perfect. I mean, that is, and I've always preached this to people that don't go hunting, and have asked me, why do you do it? And I'm like, man, have you ever, if you've never experienced a sunrise in a tree stand, or in the hunting woods in general, that's everything. You get to watch God's creation come to life, and for me, that's just, it's the most satisfying thing, and yet the most peaceful thing.
Yep.
Just experiencing it, from darkness and the light, the everything coming to life for that day and that morning. It's just truly, it's almost, it makes me speechless, and that's hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Hey, I agree with you. I mean, the only thing I wouldn't agree with, I'm not a morning person, so I'm more about a sunset. But, but, but no, I know there's nothing like it. God, it's just like you get in the stand and it's dark. You get all set up, and it's just like it's getting better every second. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's awesome.
Mhm.
all that's something that I had to learn. I'm probably in the group. I'm probably the newest to hunting. I've only been hunting probably 6 years or so. Um, And at first I went through that stage where it's like I'm not seeing nothing. I missed this deer. I missed that deer. As I started bow hunting. I didn't start rifle hunting, and I bow hunted probably for 3 years before I even picked up a rifle. And it was one of those things where I was getting discouraged, and then it in my head it's all about. I'm a very competitive like with myself, so it was like to at first it was all about the kill. I want to kill that. I want to get this, but and then it slowly turned into like I'm chasing this 12 pointer right now, and I literally like I prayed before I went into the stand yesterday, and I said if it's I said if it's not my time to kill him, I at least want to see him and film him and just experience that. And he come 50 yards into the thicket, and I could barely see him, and he started sparring a little 8 pointer for 15 minutes and walked away. And I sat there and filmed the whole thing.
Oh wow.
And dude, it had my blood flowing, and I was just as soon as I got out of the stand, I called everybody and sent the video. Like that was almost more exciting than killing him. It was like
Yeah.
actually getting to see him spar and see him in person for the first time. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And that's like I said, that's something that I've slowly learned over time. Is being out in God's country and just seeing things that most people don't see.
Yeah, and you can look back, when you're starting the journey, it's like, golly, it's going to take forever, or like you could probably look back to when you first started hunting and all the failures that you have, but you know, no matter what you do, you're in life, whether you're driving or what have you, you're going to have failures, but you wouldn't have thought that you probably come along this as far as you have in the last 6 years, and then look at all the memories you've made, and look at all the
Absolutely.
so yeah, that's what I would try to instill in people. You get some people that they run into Cabela's and buy them for the first bow, and they jump up in a tree on opening day, and they expect it all just to come happening. And it's not like you're not a failure. That's the thing. You can't fail at hunting.
Yep.
You just go enjoy hunting, and then the cherry on top is when you have things work out exactly right. And then and another thing with the way we're doing things with land and management and things like that, you're kind of well, we use the terminology training the deer to die, but 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 honestly, there it goes. There's a lot more to it. Like I was telling you about, you're working with it. Like it's way different now than it was when I grew up going to Cedar Creek, because at Cedar Creek there was no trail cameras, and this was back in the mid '80s. So I'm showing up at Cedar Creek, and I'm having to you walk around, you find the sign, you jack up a tree, and there's just you're just rolling the dice. You're like, man, I hope I see a deer. I'm where I think they should be. Whereas we've got so many more tools to keep you in the game 12 months out of the year, rather than just like, I'm off this weekend, I'm jacking up a tree, I have no idea what's coming by here. Whereas now
Exactly.
you have things to keep you in the game, and to keep your interest up, and with social media you can check in with your friends, and it's so much easier to like when we would leave the woods, we'd get to talk to our buddy, and that's it. And unless you called them 2 days later and talked to them on their house phone, there was no cell phones. You had no way of communicating. I mean, you didn't have any of that stuff. So it was like you got a lot out of it, but it's like things were moving at a slower pace. We didn't know no better, but there's just so many things to. I guess a good way to put it is scratch your itch, man. It's just so many
Yeah.
things that and you can do it 12 months out of the year. It's not like, man, I'm so bored, I'm so bored, I'm so bored, and then you just get to hunt one day. You can do so many things to that are fun leading up to it. The getting ready is
Yeah.
as much fun as actually the doing to me.
I know here we focus on a lot of food plots. We have a lot of properties, and that we love it. I
Yep,
love playing food plots, and
yep,
if I could plant a food plot through the whole entire woods and every field, I would. I just love doing it.
me
You
too.
know.
But well, Bone Man, again, we can't thank you enough for being the first guest for the first official episode. It is it's a blessing to be able to have a legend on here for real. I know you're gonna be like all shucks, but
Yeah, I know. I feel
it's the
like I
truth.
need to mail you a check for all the nice accolades.
No,
$100
man.
for everyone.
Yeah,
No, man. That's something that I'm not even gonna say you earned it. It just comes. You're natural. I think that some people that I've along the past couple of years, you and I officially met, they're like, man, how is it?" I'm like, and I'm one of the most down to earth, most humble guys you ever meet. It doesn't matter if you're Donald Trump with millions of dollars, or you could be the guy down the road that's wearing a red flannel and shooting a 1967 barrel whitetail.
yep,
He's and I think that for us, that we should strive to. More people should strive to be like that, especially in the outdoor industry, and honestly, just as everyday people.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, man, just again, really appreciate it. You're my guy. It's crazy to think coming up on like 9 or 10 years. It's pretty wild, but
yeah.
it's cool, man. Thanks again. We really appreciate it.
Oh man, I appreciate you guys. I wish you guys all the luck. I mean, you can tell y'all are passionate about it. So just keep the course, man. Y'all got it figured out. Just gotta put the time in. Y'all will be there.
Hopefully, we do get there. One last
Yeah,
thing I
well,
want to ask you.
you're
Go ahead.
there. You're there. You're yeah. There's guys that are 10 years younger than you that wish they had a podcast.
It's
See?
true.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to run by you,
Yeah.
and we've got we're all going to Wisconsin end of October into the first week of November on a hunt.
Okay.
Taking the whole group going. It's the first time we've actually had everybody going, just due to different schedules and whatnot. But nonetheless, we're kind of going to do a podcast marathon up there
Yeah.
when we're not hunting. So obviously we'll talk dates and time closer to that, but would love to have you back on that because that'll be about the middle point of our deer season, and just kind of talk to you and just talk how your deer season going, how everything's going, and just kind of touch base again if that's cool with you.
Yeah, that's fine. And if y'all got some folks that y'all within the industry that I could, help you contact with so that they can be on your podcast, let me know too. I can contact them and see if we can't get them on. I know Nick would love to do it, and I'm sure I could probably, maybe not this next month. Michael just left today, and he's not coming back till I think the 11th of October. So
Golly.
yeah,
Getting after them.
yeah. There's gonna be several freezers full of elk meat after all this, boy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Bon, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
That means a
absolutely.
lot.
and it might even be in the
Absolutely.
future, during the off season, something after season, but we can certainly get y'all lined up on them anyway.
Right now, man, that's we're more than thankful for that. We are. But guys, y'all got anything else to say before we wrap it up? Before I send us out.
Just thank you.
That's it.
Means a
That's
lot.
it.
Hey, drop me a pin
Yeah,
on
absolutely. Thank
the track if you don't care.
I'll drop you pins.
Yeah, I got that. I do have the address, but
Yeah.
man, y'all couldn't have been more blessed to have a more awesome first episode of the podcast. TBone, y'all know him. He's the man. He's he's who of a lot of us have watched that's come up in the outdoor industry, or even just in the hunting world. But thank you guys for watching and listening. Make sure to like, subscribe. Make sure to follow all that good jazz. I'm kind of scatterbrained because this podcast, man, is awesome. But nonetheless, thank you guys. Bone, thanks again, man. And
Thank
we
you
look
guys.
forward
Good
to the
luck.
next one.
Thanks, man.